All right, this is State of Texas versus John Master Spencer Jr. And we were set for sentencing today. I believe the court ordered the Community Supervision and Corrections Department to prepare a pretrial sentence investigation. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge. We've reached an agreement as to sentencing on Mr. Spencer's two cases and have informed the Community Supervision Department that the defendant would be waiving a pre-sentence investigation at this time.
Okay. What's the recommendation on Mr. Spencer's case? And I recall that Mr. Spencer was found guilty in each cause, correct? Or is it just in the evading?
Both guilty in both cases, Your Honor.
Okay. What's the state's recommendation?
Judge, the state's recommendation is 5 years, Texas Department of Criminal Justice, institutional divisions on each case. I don't recall exactly off the top of my head the fine amount of $1,500 on both. That does sound correct.
Is there any
Sorry?
any restitution?
No, sir.
Any reimbursement fees?
Judge, I was informed that since he's going to TDC, that those couldn't be included on the judgment. I will be submitting an invoice for total fees of $1,125, but I was told that since he's going to TDC, those would not be included on the.
Right. Attorney's fees aren't included, but sometimes there's other fees that show up in reimbursement. Sometimes it's rearrangement or issuance fees of things. Is there anything like that?
No, sir.
Okay.
Oh, there's a $40 reimbursement fee, Your Honor, on CR 190092 and a $60 reimbursement fee on CR 190091.
Okay. And what kind of credit time would Mr. Spencer have towards his sentence?
Judge, just so you're, I just spoke with Ms. Abney. There's a little bit of an error on the judgment. They're going to prepare corrected judgments for you. If you look at the judgments in CR 190091, it shows sentence commenced July 15, 2021 with 337 days credit. I believe that will be changed to 339 days credit. And then in the other judgment, it shows which is CR 190092. It shows a date sentence to commence of July 13th, 2021. That's going to be changed on your copy to July 15th, 2021. And that's where the credit was calculated at. And so that will also reflect 339 days instead of 337 days.
Okay. And is the defendant agreeing to waiver of appeal on any issues?
Yes, Judge, that is actually part of the agreement that he is waiving all rights to appeal in exchange for the court approving, if the court approves, this plea agreement as sentencing, and we have signed the certification of appeal acknowledging that it is both a plea bargain for purposes of sentencing, and he's waived appeal. And secondarily, we've signed the second box that he simply waives appeal on each case.
All right, Mr. Spencer, if you'll raise your right hand, sir, I do want to place you under oath today. Mr. Spencer, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court will be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, you can put your hand down. All right, Mr. Spencer, you heard Mr. Schmidt and Mr. Woodwhite inform the court that you've reached an agreed recommendation to the court for 5 years confinement on each case with a $1,500 fine in each case, wherein you would receive 339 days credit toward your sentence in each case, and you would have reimbursement fees in each case. Is that what you're asking the court to approve today?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you feel like you've had enough time to discuss the issue of punishment with your attorney, Mr. Schmidt?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And has anyone threatened, forced, or pressured you regarding this agreement as to sentencing today?
No, sir.
Okay. Anything further from the state or from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
No, sir. Judge, I will tell you, I have the corrected, they just placed the corrected judgments in front of me, so I have all of the originals and they're all correct.
Okay, good.
Do you want me to bring those to the courthouse when I'm finished here?
Yes, if you'll do that, I'll appreciate it.
Sure.
Okay, so Mr. Spencer, the court's going to find that the jury in your trial returned a verdict of guilty in cause number CR 1991, convicting you of evading arrest or detention with a vehicle. The court's already accepted that jury finding. And in CR 1992, court finds that the jury returned a verdict of guilty for third-degree felony tampering or fabricating with physical evidence. The court has already accepted that. With regards to sentencing, the court will accept the recommendation of the state and Mr. Schmidt. Court will find that you have intentionally, knowingly, and freely entered into an agreement on this recommendation. So the court will assess your punishment in CR 1991 on evading arrest or detention with a vehicle at 5 years confinement, and the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division will assess a fine of $1,500 or will order you to pay $60 reimbursement fee in that case. And CR 1992, court on the charge of tampering or fabricating with physical evidence, also a third-degree felony. The court will assess your punishment at 5 years confinement, and the Texas Department of Criminal Justice order you to pay a fine of $1,500, orders you to pay a $40 reimbursement fee. And in each cause, the court awards you 339 days credit towards your sentence in each cause for the time that you have spent in jail. Do you have any further questions, Mr. Spencer?
No, sir.
Anything further, Mr. Schmidt?
Not as to this case, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Spencer, you're hereby remanded to the custody of the Van Zandt County Sheriff so he can carry out the terms and conditions of the sentence today and have you go and be fingerprinted on the judgment. And Mr. Spencer, whenever you get out of TDC, I'm going to order you to report to the Van Zandt County Courthouse so you can make arrangements to start paying on the fines and fees that you owe. Failure to do that is going to result in the court issuing a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, it's my understanding that the court addressed my client, Mr. Crumpler, earlier, that we have an agreement for 9 days in jail with credit for 9 days served and to continue the alcohol classes that he's been doing. And so there was a discussion that he needed to be brought up, which is fine with me. Am I accurate on that?
Yes, I indicated no reason to bring him up if the state was withdrawing the motion to revoke and the amendment did not require judicial approval. And so without him, he wasn't being extended. So I didn't feel like I needed to approve that with him in person. So I went ahead and signed that order granting the state's withdrawal, and I signed the order amending his conditions. So he should be.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
He should be good to go on that.
Yeah, that was my only question. I haven't talked to him. I was going to call his family and tell them to head this way at some point, but I didn't know if there was who sent the order for release from confinement to the jail.
I don't know. I can inquire. I'm not sure who sends that. I don't know if it's probation or if it's the clerk's office. Most likely the clerk's office, but I can have my staff inquire as to the district clerk staff.
Yeah, because he would be released today, like right now. So, Mr. Woodwack, do you have any idea?
I do not, Brian. I don't know. We submit that to the court, and it kind of goes into the ether after that. I'm not sure of the process beyond that.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Hold what you got. No, I'm saying just stay right there for just a second. Mr. Schmidt, the jail has confirmed that they've already received that,
Great, Judge, thank you.
so they're aware.
Great, I appreciate that. I'm gonna bring this paperwork over to the courthouse right now.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Thank y'all.
All right, Mr. Woodwhite. Yes, sir. We'll stand in recess and wait for Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, Judge. I think we have received some indication that he is soon to be on his way, if not already on his way. So we will just wait to hear back from the court as to when
Bill
he's.
Stevens, he's here.
Oh, there we go.
He's right here. Judge, can you hear me?
Oh, yes. And Mr. Woodwhite, withdraw that warrant for Mr. Stevens' arrest, please.
They're
That
bringing
sounds like
my
a lot of-
file. You will sign the papers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Yeah.
Donald, I appreciate you withdrawing that warrant, but, you know,
I mean, that's a lot of work. I've already done all of it. We'll just let it get served. We'll figure it out later.
hey, I need a good place to sleep, you know, I need a good meal, so.
Well, I can't promise a good meal, but I can promise a meal.
Okay. I'll be done in just a minute, Judge.
Okay,
Sorry
that's
about-
fine.
oh,
Okay.
It seems that everything in the 397 and the 294th are being set on the same days.
You know,
It's very difficult to do.
I
Ms. Smith, come on up to the podium, please.
All right, you ready, Mr. Stevens?
Yes, sir.
All right, this is cause number CR 2368, State versus Candace Kaylin Smith. Ms. Smith, if you'll raise your right hand, I'm going to place you under oath. Ms. Smith, do you swear that the testimony you give to the court today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
All right, you can put your hand down. What are the terms of the plea today?
Your Honor, it's a state jail felony. She's going to get 12 months in a state jail. She has 79 days back time credit. And it looks like there's a $2,500 fine and the court cost of $290, restitution of $180, and I see a reimbursement fee of $85. I believe that is it, Your Honor.
No 1245s or anything else being disposed of?
No, Your
No,
Honor,
Your
this
Honor.
is the only case.
Okay. And does she intend to plead true to all counts alleged in the state's motion?
Judge, I believe this is a new charge.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Ms. Smith, are you a United States citizen?
Yes, sir.
Do you read, write, and speak English?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever been diagnosed with any type of mental condition?
Yes.
What have you been diagnosed with?
Schizophrenia, bipolar depression, but that don't stop me. I know what I'm doing.
Okay. Are you on medication for those today?
I'm on Prozac, but that's just to keep my mood level.
So you feel like you do have a rational understanding of the proceedings that have gone on in this case?
Yes, sir. I'm highly intelligent.
Okay. All right. And Ms. Smith, are you pleased with Mr. Stevens' representation of you?
Yes, sir.
You feel like you've had enough time to talk with him about your case and have all your questions answered?
Yes, sir.
Anything about the paperwork that you've read and signed that you do not understand?
No, sir.
And that is your true and correct signature throughout the paperwork. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Mr. Stevens, do you believe Ms. Smith to be competent today?
Yes, absolutely, Your Honor.
And you've explained to her legal and constitutional rights?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
And can you tell me again, you said that court 290, what was the reimbursement fee?
It's an $85 reimbursement fee. I'm not real sure, Your Honor, maybe Ms. House.
It's on the judgment. Do you have the judgment there?
I've got the judgment here, Judge. Yes, sir. It just says reimbursement fee is $85.
Yeah, I just want the amount. And what about restitution? Is there restitution for testing the substance?
180, Your Honor,
Okay.
and $2,500 fine and $290 in court costs.
Gotcha. All right, thank you. All right, Ms. Smith, you are charged by indictment with a state jail felony offense of possession of controlled substance of penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. That carries a range of punishment of not less than 6 months or more than 2 years confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Institutional Division. Also carries a fine not to exceed $10,000. Do you understand that full range of punishment?
Yes, sir.
All right, Ms. Smith, understanding the plea agreement in this case as it has been announced and the range of punishment, how do you plead to that charge?
Guilty.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty of committing that crime?
Yes, sir.
Has anyone threatened, forced, or pressured you to plead guilty?
No, sir.
All right, the court accepts the defendant's plea of guilt at this time. Mr. Stevens, any objection to states 1?
No, Your Honor.
All right, states 1, the stipulation of evidence is admitted. Court takes judicial notice of the defendant's judicial confession. Anything further from the state other than a summary of facts?
No, Your Honor.
From the defense?
No, Your Honor.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Heisel.
Thank you, Your Honor. Judge, Ms. Smith was the passenger in a vehicle. There was a call out to 911 for reckless driving and screams for help from a woman coming from the suspect vehicle. That vehicle was pulled over. Like I said, Ms. Smith was the passenger. After a little bit of back and forth, questioning and investigation about the situation at hand, the officer asked the driver for permission to search the vehicle. The driver gave consent to search. During this exchange, Ms. Smith was acting very nervous. She was sweating profusely, and the officers, upon approaching her, informing her that the vehicle was about to be searched, Miss Smith admitted that she had methamphetamine on her person, that they had just bought from a local well-known drug dealer just before being pulled over. The lab did come back at 0.44 grams of meth.
Mr. Stevens, your client looked puzzled as to some of those facts. I'm puzzled as to why she would be puzzled.
Well, I don't know, Judge, we discussed it all, so.
Yeah, we did. It's okay.
Okay. All right, then based on the evidence, the court finds that there is sufficient evidence to convict Ms. Smith of this offense. The court does follow the plea agreement, convicts Candace Caitlin Smith of the state jail felony offense of possession of controlled substance in penalty group 1, less than 1 gram. Court assesses her punishment at 12 months confinement in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice State Jail Division. Awards her 79 days credit towards that sentence for the time that she has spent in jail on this cause. Orders her to pay a $2,500 fine, $190 court cost, $180 restitution, and $85 reimbursement fee. Ms. Smith, you're hereby remanded to the custody of the Van Zandt County Sheriff so he can carry out the terms and conditions of the sentence. When you are released from state jail, I'm going to order you to report to the Van Zandt County Courthouse so you can make arrangements for paying off your fines and fees. Failure to do that will result in the court issuing a warrant for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to you, ma'am. Go ahead and go with the deputy to be fingerprinted. Thank you, Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, Judge. Might be excused.
Yes, sir. Are you going to e-file your bill?
Well, I've got it here with the paperwork. I'll just send it
Okay.
over if that's okay.
That's fine. That's even better.
Thanks, Judge.
Thank you. All right, I believe that concludes our afternoon docket. Thank you, Deputy McLeish. I appreciate your help today.
Absolutely, Your Honor. It's always a pleasure.
Judge, would you just let me know? I knew that Mr. McHaslett was filing a motion for continuance on sorry, that was a tongue twister. Remedios Mendez Gonzalez. Could you tell me when that was reset to?
I think it's 27th, but let me look for you. July 27th at 3:15.
3:15. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Woodwike.
Thank you, Judge. We'll see you real soon.